Here we are at track number 7. Quite a tricky one, this. So quite a few chords to go through. It's in the key of G, and it has a 12/8 feel. Now, Mike, has, one of our camera guys, has assured me that Blueberry Hill is nothing like the track that I said last time. So I'm going to use the example of Crazy. I don't know if you remember that country song in 12/8, and hopefully that's a little bit more like the 12/8 feel that we're looking for. I mean, what do I know? I've only been playing since I was 11. Anyway, track number 7, 12/8 feel, key of G. Let's go through the chords. First chord, regular G. Then we come to a G augmented. Now, you may not know this chord, so that's 5 on the D, 4 on the G, 4 on the B, 3 on the high E. Okay. Then we come to A minor 7, which is 5 on the low E, 5 on the D, 5 on the G, 5 on the B, 5 on the high E. Then we come to D9, which is 5 on the A, 4 on the D, then this finger bars across 5G, 5B, 5 high E. Then the A minor 7 again. Then we have an E augmented triad with a G sharp in the bass. Now that's exactly the same as the G chord that we discussed, but just a semitone up. So just move that one up a semitone and you've got it. Then it's back to A minor 7, which we've discussed. D9, which we've discussed. Then to a G, which we've discussed. Then we're going to do a G7, which is like a regular G bar chord, but we take the pinky off just to expose that 3rd fret on the D string. Okay, now we have a C, regular C. Then we have a C minor with an E flat in the bass. Can also be known as E flat 6. Okay, that's 6 on the A, 8 on the D, 8 on the G, 8 on the B, 8 on the high E. Then we have this little run, okay, which goes F, F sharp, G. Now, earlier on the DVD we discussed these things where we don't put the bass in. These, it's F, F sharp, G. You can put the bass in if you want to, but because we're going to be doing this kind of choppy rhythm, it's a little bit easier if we play the inversions like that. Okay, so we arrive at a G, then we go back to F, then we go to E7. Okay, that's going to be 7 on the A, 6 on the D, 7 on the G, and 5 on the B string. E7. Okay, now we have a little run up. It goes A minor, G, with the B in the bass there. So it's A minor, G with the B in the bass, C. Okay, now we come to a C sharp diminished chord, which we're going to play here. And if you don't already know that shape, that's 11 on the D string, 12 on the G, 11 on the B. Okay, now we have another little run up where we go D, E minor, we play F diminished. Okay, now the F diminished is 8 on the A, it's 9 on the D, 7 on the G, and then 9 on the B. And then that's followed by a D7 with F sharp in the bass, and we're just going to play that there. Okay, so we have D, E minor, F diminished, D7. Okay, then we come to a regular G, then we do this little run up, F, F sharp, G, and we finish on D7, which is the same as the E7 that we played earlier, but down 2 frets. Okay, so there's quite a lot of information there. Let's play this along with the track. Now, the rhythm is going to be similar to some of the stuff we've done in the past. We're going to be playing this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. This type of thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, you get the idea. Most of the time it's 1 or 2 chords to the bar, apart from those run-ups that we do. Okay. Now when we do the run-ups, we're going to just open up a little bit more. Okay, doing that type of thing to the D, to the E minor, to the F, to the D7. But when it's 1 or 2 chords to the bar, we're going to do the chop. It's going to make a lot more sense when you see me play with the track, so let's do that. Okay, we're going to look at some lead stuff now. Now you've probably noticed there's quite a lot of chords here and it tends to change key quite a lot. It stays in the key of G, but it moves around. It has sort of slight modulations and it's not always possible to play exactly the same scales over everything. So on track 3, if you remember, we used the guide tone lines and the targeting, and that would be a great way to approach this track. But I'm just going to give you a little idea on how you can play over the chords to try and make it a little bit simpler. And what I recommend you do on a track like this is don't necessarily try and do the whole thing in one go. Maybe take, you know, the first 2 bars, loop them round, okay, if you have some sort of device on your computer or you have a Tascam CDGT1 or something like that, loop them round and then practice the ideas just individually and then kind of move on as you go. So anyway, the first 2 bars we have G, okay, and then we have this G augmented chord. Now, what I would say is we're going to use sort of what we call a G Mixolydian scale for this, and this would be this scale down here. Okay. But what I'm going to recommend you do is just play a very small portion of the scale. So we're going to sort of use this E note and jump up to this G here. So that's sort of sliding up to 9th on the G and then using this 8 on the B. And then going a tone above that, 10 on the B, and bending up to that B. A little bit kind of B.B. King. Now the second chord in the second bar is this augmented triad, and if we actually spoke about an augmented triad before, so we have a version there. So it's G, B, okay, and D sharp. So the second one we have there, you'll notice as we go through, the second note of that chord becomes the first note of the next shape, but the shape remains the same. Okay. And then the next one. So what we can do, if we're in this position, we can use those little triad shapes there. So if we were in G up here, it's just a nice way to negotiate that. Now the next 2 chords that we have, A minor 7, D9. Easiest way to negotiate these, A minor pentatonic. For both of them. Now, if you want to, you can also, over the D9, use a scale called the Dorian. And if you take your A minor pentatonic and just add B and F sharp to it. And you'll see me using this F sharp over the D, the A minor, the D. Okay, now A minor again in the next bar, so we carry on with our pentatonic. In the second half of the bar, we meet this E augmented. So now we're going to do the same thing again with the augmented triad. Okay, the first one's going to be G sharp, C and E. So the next one will be C, and the next one will be E. So now. The augmented. Now we have A minor 7 and D9 again, so we can use that A minor pentatonic that we discussed before. Then G, back to our G thing. Then we have G7. So what I want you to do to this little position you have here, add this F note, either below it on the 6th fret B string, or possibly on the 10th fret G. Then stay around that shape for the C. Okay. The only difference is you want to play more off this B flat now. For the C. Then we come to the C minor with E flat in the bass. For this we want C minor pentatonic. That'll work perfectly for the F chord that's coming up as well. Okay, then over the F sharp chord that's coming up, just hit an F sharp root there. Now we arrive at G, go back to our shape again, and then remember when we talked about G7 and I said about adding the F? Then back to E7. Now for the E7 we can use our augmented triad that we discussed before. Remember when we said E augmented, the G sharp. We can use that again for that E7. Or, you know, if you want to simplify it, as we said on track 3, just hit one of the notes out of the chord. Right, now we have this run up here, which is A minor, G with the B in the bass, C. Okay, then remember we had our C sharp diminished. Now, a couple of ideas for here. You can play A minor pentatonic throughout. But just hit that C sharp when that chord arrives. Then in the next bar, we have the D, E minor, F diminished to the D7 with the F sharp in the bass. We can use B minor pentatonic for all of this. Okay, so it's the same as the A minor, but just moved up a tone. Then we go back to the G. And then I suggest just a little run up from F, F sharp, G. Then I just go and do like a little blues bass thing, which is just hammering from 3 to 4. I know we all recognise that. Okay, but don't forget also the guide tone lines for the chord run-ups. You know, we had A minor with the G, with the B, C, the C sharp diminished. Don't forget, you know, for example, you could have E for the A minor, you could have D for the G, C for the C, and then there. So you can work out those guide tone lines as well. Anyway, a lot of information. As I said before, you know, loop certain parts of the song and, you know, see if you can just negotiate it in small little sort of bites, if it were, as it were, and then try and put the whole thing together later on. Okay, let's have a little demonstration with the track and see if all this stuff I've said makes any sense at all. Okay, so it's quite a difficult track to play around. Hopefully you've got some good ideas there. And like I say, take it in small bites and you will complete the meal.